I'm back with Abigail Savopoulos, who's joining me on Zoom, and we'll jump right back into the interview. The listeners just heard that episode, The Verdict, where Darren Wint learns that the jury found him guilty. And I want to talk to you about the trial, but first, we haven't talked yet about your little brother, Philip. So tell me, you guys shared a special bond. Tell me about your brother.
I called Philip Bud Bud. He called me Abba. And we were so incredibly close. I was 9 when he was born. Um, and so he, I was his big sister, and I loved being around him and watching him grow and thrive and follow his passions. And he was the smartest little kid I've ever met. He learned his exponents the same day I learned my exponents, which is insane.
Well, and just to have such a
Like,
passion, just to have such a passion for racing, to go all in. I mean, he was so little
yeah,
to have already
he
known, like, this is
knew.
what I want.
Yeah,
Like, yeah.
he he got behind the wheel and he knew that's what he wanted to do with his life. And he would do exercises and look up strengthening to strengthen his neck for the forces, and he would watch back his video footage of his races and do like the physics calculations of how, like, this is a he was like 8, 9 doing this, like doing physics calculations to determine what he could do differently to better, like, have better I don't know. I don't even know the
No,
terminology.
nor do I.
He
No, he would.
I can't, he would. But I'd be sitting there just doing my like algebra and he would be like doing advanced physics.
You're like, you're making me
He
look bad,
but
kiddo.
Yeah, but he loved it. He was so passionate about it. The way his eyes would light up when he talked about it, he would tell me how he'd be behind the wheel and he could see the path that he needed to, like, the best path that he needed to take in order to, like, win the race or get around the person in front of him. And I would hear this. I'm like, oh, you're a genius.
Well, also knowing how to drive well is difficult for adults. So he's actually driving and he's a little
Right?
kid. I
Okay,
mean,
I struggle enough.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
and so he had all these
It
little friends too. He went to did he go to Beauvoir?
yeah.
Right.
He went
Okay.
to NCRC in Beaufort
Okay. So, and
and
you
then
were
St.
saying
Albans.
he had a concussion from one of his racing events that like 2 days before.
Yeah.
Did that happen
Yeah.
a lot?
No, it was a freak accident. The whole, like, the car flipped and caught on fire, but the race suits that they wear, um, they're fireproof. And so he was fine. My mom was less fine with the situation.
Yeah, her baby's in a car.
Um,
Yeah, I can see
yeah,
that.
she's like, what? She's like, why are we letting him do this?
Wow.
And but he got up and I asked him, I was like, are you planning to continue racing? Like, because something like that at such a young age,
Right.
I wouldn't blame him if he was like, actually, no, I might just like
I'm good.
I might knit or be a painter or like something
I might knit.
less extreme. I
And he was like,
mean,
"No, I'm all in."
what?
Wow.
No, he's like, this is what I want to do. I'm not telling you I want to be a racer. I'm telling you I will do everything to be a racer. He would be on the sidelines doing his math to calculate his races and then doing his like like doing his homework at the same time. He would, and my parents allowed him to do, like, he was always traveling on the weekend for these races and they were behind him, supporting him, cheering him on. And despite my mother being like, this is so dangerous, um, she supported him because it was what he was passionate about.
I
And
just
my
want to
father
know,
was all for him doing it.
yeah, I just want to know more about him because I feel like, it gets lost when we talk about crimes like this.
Mhm.
These are, I mean, they're people, they have little personalities and quirks and all these different things that you don't really
Oh
get to
my
know
gosh,
about
yeah.
when you're hearing a court case. But I mean, obviously, beyond losing your parents, to lose a sibling is a very
Mhm.
different thing. It's a different kind of loss.
It
There's a
is.
lot of potential there that obviously was never met.
Hmm.
Been able, he was not able to live. And do you have
Yeah.
moments like you were talking about how you were, get through these grief moments with your community? And
Hmm.
is there, do you talk about Philip sort of separately, or do you have separate moments in your day when it hits you, Philip versus your family, or is it sort of ugh, one big difficulty?
It depends on the day.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
sometimes like I it really depends because as you said, they're very different losses. You lose your parents who you're they're supposed to die before you, not that young, but to lose a sibling is a totally different loss.
Hmm.
And it's a loss of someone who's like your built-in best friend, and all of a sudden they're gone. And I get those moments where sometimes I miss all of them together. Sometimes I just miss one in this like specific moment. Sometimes I'm like, oh, like this reminds me of this person. And so the grief I carry for him is different, but it's just as strong.
Mm.
Um, yeah.
I mean, this is very personal. I'm asking you to be personal, so I don't have a problem sharing with you. I lost someone very close to me as well. And I had a moment where
Hmm.
I almost had guilt because I was able to
Hmm.
have this turkey sandwich. Like you said, the stupidest things.
Hmm.
And you're like, this was used to be his favorite thing to eat, and now I'm having this turkey sandwich, and this isn't fair. And like little moments like
Yeah.
that you can't put voice to every time it happens.
Yeah.
But then I think about you, and I'm like, then times three. And
Well,
how you get
you
through the
can't,
day. I mean, you have such love in your life,
yeah,
which is wonderful, but I just have such respect for you,
I
for how
do.
well you've done and how successful you've, moved on, if you will, in not a negative way,
I
but
don't
like,
think you ever move on. I
no,
definitely think you grow stronger and learn how to carry it. But I think that if you truly love the person you lost, you don't move on from them no longer being in your life. You
right.
just learn how to go through life without them, but you still very much carry that weight of their loss. At least
Somebody,
that's what I feel.
yeah, someone told me once it's like a pebble, it's like a stone you're carrying in your pocket, and you're always going to
Hmm.
have it. And some days it's lighter, and some
Yeah,
days it's heavier, but it's just there.
yeah. Sometimes it feels like you're carrying a boulder, and some days it feels like you're carrying a pebble. And it's a perfect analogy. It's
Yeah.
always there. But that's the beauty of it too, because if it's not always there, like it's almost like a reminder of the love that you did have.
It's a beautiful way of looking at it. Yeah. And it
Yeah,
shows kind of how you grow through the different, some days you can have bad days, good days, like you said, but you try and look at it that way. I'm
yeah.
sure it's a little bit easier to get through.
I try to get through every day to the best of my abilities. And there's nothing more than you can do as someone who's experienced immense loss. Uh, than do your best
Mhm.
every day. No one, yeah,
Well said. Um, I think we talked about this a little bit earlier. You were not at the trial. And I think
no.
anybody would understand why, how difficult that would have been.
I was in college and I had decided I thought about it for a long time and I was offered to take the semester off or the year off, whichever I wanted, and come back. So it's not like I was worried about losing my spot in college, but I knew my parents would have wanted me to be in school
Hmm.
instead of in the courtroom. And so I wasn't there at the trial. I was getting notes every day. I was reading about the trial. I was staying up to date, but it made school a lot harder balancing everything. But
I bet.
I chose to stay and graduate in 4 years.
I know your grandparents were there almost every single day, if not every single day. And
Mhm.
we respected their privacy because we didn't really talk to anybody because everybody was going through something in that room. You said you read the notes about the trial. Did you talk to them about like what they
Mhm.
were taking in, or was everybody kind of going through it in their own way?
I did. Everyone went through it in their own way, and it's a lot to process. It's not like when you're going through something that extreme, it's not like you want to talk about it outside of when it's happening. Like you're like, I just need a moment to breathe. So,
It wasn't something you wanted to go over and over and talk to people on the phone about. It was like you
no, I
that's what you're
didn't want to
saying.
harp on it. And I
Right.
was, yeah, and I was trying to make it through school. So I was like, I didn't want to add anything else. So we talked about it, but no, everyone's their own person. Everyone has their own experiences with different things. Everyone
Right.
processes things very differently. And I try to respect people's boundaries in their space and respect the fact that not everyone processes things the same way as me.
Right. Right. And I was going to ask you, is there anything that I could tell you that you have questions about or because I was there every day, but I didn't know. I mean, for all I knew, you guys were like, I can't handle this. I'm in college. I'm not going to pay attention because it's too much. You know what I mean? And I'll read it later.
Yeah,
But it sounds
yeah,
like you were kind of, okay, I checked in, I digested what was going on, and I'm going to
yeah.
move on to get
To the best of my abilities, I was still a kid.
right.
Like my friends were worried about like what the plans were for that night or like little drama stuff. And I'm like, well, my family's having a murder trial. Like it's it's not exactly something that's easy to relate with other people on. And so
No.
I tried to like keep it kind of within me and my closest friends. I didn't want to like be that person that like ends up showing up and just being negative the entire time where they're like, oh, like because people don't know what to say. They really don't. Like what do you say to that?
Well, right. And but to say that, Abigail, though, to not be the person, and I get why you wouldn't want to be the person who's always glum and always talking about it,
Hmm.
but that
Hmm.
would have been
Yeah.
completely acceptable because it's like
Yeah.
you're going through,
Oh, and don't get me wrong, with my friends and like a therapist, they totally was.
oh,
And
but you were also trying to have like a
I
semblance of a normal life.
was
Like,
processing, but exactly. I wanted to be able to have the ability to feel like a college kid.
and do you think you got that?
I felt like, yeah, no, but I think I tried.
Okay.
And all you can really do in life is try. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, like you made the best of what you could have done, and every day you tried, and that's all you can say.
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Would
Like,
you have done it differently if you look back? I know that's kind of a hard question because you can ask that of anybody, but
I probably would have started talking about it on social media more. And I would have started talking about it like earlier. And I would have started talking to more people about it.
and you
Instead
say
of
that
keeping,
because
yeah,
of the connections that you've had that have helped
because
you.
of okay, because of this community that I've built, I now know that I'm not alone and I don't feel as alone. But at the time, I felt very alone. And I didn't even think about posting about it. I was like, what do I post? Like,
Right.
what would I even say? And then I realized I'm just overthinking it. I'm just gonna start posting on the internet and hopefully at least one person can feel better with what I post.
And you didn't
If I could make one person feel less alone, then I've succeeded.